Hello and welcome back to Cities Skylines Better Cities. In the previous episode we've built a passenger harbor, and in this episode we're going to start building a cargo harbor nearby. So as I mentioned in the previous episode, we're going to start with building the main city infrastructure to make enough connections, to make sure that we have enough goods coming into the city and being produced in the city before we start doing anything else. Before we start all the nice and interesting projects, we have to make sure that it actually looks like a city and functions like one. So we're going to build out the entire highway network. For our cargo harbor, we're just going to do this intersection that's going to lead to the other side of the canal. And then we're also going to build a new international airport in the next episode to make sure that we have the complete transit network. And we're also going to update our train stations to make sure that all the connections are sufficient enough for us to get enough people coming into the city, enough cargo, enough people coming and going out of the city. I'm not expecting this city to be profitable. I'm playing with unlimited money, but I do want this to look like an actual city. So we're gonna need enough industry, we're gonna need enough transit, we're gonna need enough highway connections, because that's also going to be a part of the scenery as well, and it will make it look like a real deal. Now I wanted to place all of the harbors and other transit infrastructure things in the areas where that would make the most sense, and given that we have this kind of lake slash something looking like a sea, I decided that it's gonna be better to place it somewhere close to the downtown area, because that's where we get all the access to the water. And the previous cargo harbor actually used to be on the other side. I'm not entirely sure what I'm gonna do with the other side of the city. Maybe we're gonna get a completely different city. Maybe that's gonna be a new district for our current city. But for now, we're just gonna focus on this side. And here we have the historic city center, the new CBD district, and now this cargo harbor is gonna be off to one side from the CBD district, so it's gonna be separated by highway, but it's still gonna be close enough to downtown, so once we get all the goods, they can actually come into the city without any trouble. And we also will have to figure out a train connection from the cargo harbor over here to potentially another cargo harbor and the warehouses on the other side of the city. I think we're going to have something in the middle, somewhere close to the city, so that all the cargo that's coming through the airport and the harbor is going to be delivered into the same place, and then from there it's going to get to where it's going. And we also need to figure out where we're going to place our actual industries, our oil industry, and whatever else we might need to get the factories running. Another thing in the pipeline is going to be the farms and forestry industries, but those ones will be easier to place. I want to place the major industry first, and then figure out where do we have enough empty spots left and what's going to make the most sense. Now for this cargo harbor, as well as many of the infrastructure projects, I'm not trying to get it perfect from the first time. I don't really need it to function perfectly. All I want to get is something that looks more or less like a real deal, that you can tell that that's a cargo harbor, and it gets enough transit connections, it doesn't make too much trouble with the traffic, and that will be good enough for now. I think I might rework this thing later on. For now, I don't really have a clear idea of what I'm trying to build. I know it's going to be in this place. I know it's going to take up roughly this much, and let's see what can we do with this. So I'm using multiple assets from the workshop. Most of them just look like the containers that they use on the ships, and some of them are actually the nice assets from the workshop that are functioning as the warehouses. We're gonna set it up later on. For now, we're just gonna place it in a way that just looks alright from a distance. All we need to have here is a harbor that is close to downtown, that is connected, and then we're also gonna place some unique factories next to it, so we could use all of the goods that are coming into the city, as well as everything that we're gonna produce within the city later on. And I think I might have actually overdone it. It's probably a little bit too much for the harbor that we need. That I don't think we're gonna need that much cargo capacity, considering the size of the city right now is 22,000 people only. But there's gonna be enough room for expansion, and it will definitely make it look like a real deal from a distance, so that it actually looks massive, like, you know, LA Harbor or any of those places. The only thing I'm struggling with is the heights, because I don't want the water to overflow. I've built a quay wall to make sure that everything is protected from flooding, but then it seems like the rest of the terrain is slightly different height, so that definitely makes it a little bit harder to landscape, but we'll see how that goes. So for now, I'm just trying to add all the assets that would make sense there. So I'm placing all the containers and the cargo ports and everything that I could place there, and probably we're also gonna have a shipbuilding facility. I don't think we're gonna keep all of it later on, and most of these are actually coming with train tracks, and the way that they are arranged now, I don't think it's gonna make much sense down the way, because yeah, I don't think a 90-degree connection for the train tracks is gonna make any sense, so we'll see how that goes later on. I would rather figure out a way to place another cargo train station, maybe somewhere within the close reach of these buildings, and then connect it to the warehouse in between, and then probably all the way to the new international airport. But that is all yet to come. Now we have a massive flooding, as always, whenever you do anything landscaping. Yeah, you might end up with this. And the road layout is not going to be final. What I'm thinking is, once we expand the downtown enough, the CBD district, it's probably going to expand to the other side of this canal. So there's probably going to be another CBD expansion in between the cargo harbor and the current CBD. And the other thing is to figure out a connection to the old city center, so that we get enough goods delivered there as well. So yeah, the trickiest one is probably going to be, where do we place the warehouses for commercial goods that is actually going to serve the city. So the idea is, I don't know if it's actually going to work out, but the idea is that we're going to get all of our cargo coming through the harbor and the international airport with the airport DLC extension, and then we're also going to have warehouses close to our actual commercial zones. I know the flooding is getting completely out of hand. Yeah, that's not looking good. We're probably going to lose some people, we're going to lose some buildings, but it doesn't really matter, because yeah, everything's unlimited money, unlimited yeah, there's no abandonment mode as well, to make sure that even if the building gets destroyed, we're not going to lose population. And the building itself, and this is the old harbor actually that we just removed, and now it's going to be on the other side, where it probably makes a little bit more sense, because now it's really close to the city, and it's going to definitely make it better for the goods delivery. And the pipes, yeah, the pipes. So once again, this city, it's been in the works for 2 years, so all the pipelines are just all over the place. It's just a big mess. I know the pipes go under the roads, but yeah, not all the time. Not all the time. Here is just a big mess. So far, it doesn't look that bad. It looks alright for now. Just a couple of tiny tweaks, and it should be good to go. And then we also have to figure out a highway connection later on, because once we get all the factories they also gonna need a better way to deliver goods, and I'm thinking maybe we're gonna put the unique factories on one side and then the harbor is gonna be on the other side, with the cargo train station right in between. So that'll make more sense. And then we'll figure out a connection to the highway. I'm trying to use one-way roads as much as possible. I don't think it's gonna be a perfect solution, but we'll see how that works. We're probably gonna need a traffic manager as well to make sure that they don't do unnecessary turns and U-turns, to make sure that the traffic is flowing. For now, it's not gonna be a big issue because we don't really have that big of a population, so there's not gonna be that much demand. I also want to put some generic industry in this area as well, and then we'll see how that goes. So far it's looking alright. It's kind of messy, but once again, we're gonna change a couple of things. If you have any ideas or suggestions, feel free to let me know in the comments below, and we'll see how to make this harbor look and function a little bit better. For now, it is what it is, and yeah. And we actually started having the first ships coming in, which is good news, which means the whole thing is actually functioning. I'm probably gonna look for more assets on the workshop. I want a cargo terminal without the train tracks, so that the train terminal could be placed separately somewhere in between. Yeah, I'll probably have to move the factories later on, but for now, let's see how many of these can we squeeze in. And once again, the factories are not going to function without the raw materials being produced in the city, so we also have to figure out a place for that. So those places are probably going to be remote. They're going to be quite a distance from the city, so that also gives us opportunity to build more roads, more highways, and probably some kind of small town next to whatever ore mine or what we might have later on. So that is another opportunity for expansion. And for now, I'm probably going to turn off. I'm going to make sure that the traffic manager just removes all the access cars, because otherwise it's going to be a mess for now. There are a lot of intersections in the city that were not set up properly, so yeah, the traffic, it could get pretty bad on some roads if we don't do anything about it. And now let's see if we can add a cargo train track somewhere in between. We already have 2 train stations, and then the water levels are still a big mess, but they'll eventually sort itself out. Should be alright. We're not flooding, that's the good news. So we also need to figure out, so we have 3 train connections on the edges of the map. So I'm trying to figure out a way to make sure that we can get some of them connected here, some of them connected to the airport, and then some of them are probably going to be passing through the city, but we need to separate them from the passenger rail as well to make sure it doesn't turn into a big train traffic jam. Now we're almost done with this harbor. It doesn't look all that great, but it does look massive. It does look like something is happening there that sort of looks like a harbor, which is exactly what we're aiming for here. So I'm quite happy with that. That'll do for now. If you have any ideas on how to make this look and work better, you're more than welcome to head down into the comment section and let me know. And for the next episode, I think we're going to start building our international airport, and then a couple of episodes from now, we'll figure out a way to connect this all together and make sure that it works properly. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.